away, my girl. Welcome to the Savage Nation. Today we pay our respects to veterans, past, present, and future. Remembrance Day is how it is called, or Armistice Day, or Veterans Day. It is a memorial in commemoration of World War I, which ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, way back in 1918. Now, today in England, as the clock struck 11 a.m., and as millions of Britons fell silent in respect for the war dead, Islamic protesters chanted, "British soldiers burn in hell." They burned poppies. They chanted, "Death to British soldiers." They said, "Your soldiers are in hell, our soldiers are in heaven." But who did the police lead away? Who did the British police arrest? They didn't arrest the radical Muslims who desecrated the dead soldiers. They didn't arrest the vermin who broke the moment of silence with their words of hatred. Who did they arrest? They arrested the counter-protesters, the real British, the descendants of those who founded Britain, who were trying to shout down the radical Muslim fascists. The government arrested the only hope for Britain, the soccer thugs. This is the same government that's slashing England's military, ripping apart its Harrier fleet, destroying its aircraft carriers and its infantry. And where is the Prime Minister of England while this is happening? He's in China. Why is this important to you? Why should you, an American, care what happens to England, a socialist nation that was once a great power? Because I believe we are now the great power about to become a socialist nation. We are the ones about to be led into oblivion. We're the ones about to be arrested if we dare protest the spewers of real hatred. England's present could become America's future. Now, some took heart when conservatives won in England, but their hopes were shattered shortly thereafter. The so-called conservatives under David Cameron continued to ban Michael Savage from entering England. They slashed the military, and they're kowtowing to China, and of course, protecting the Islamic fascists amongst them. And I warn you, beware of Republicans bearing false grifts. If it happened in England, it can happen here as well. But let us go back to what we're doing here in America on Veterans Day, or Poppy Day. The red poppy, many of you may not know, had become a symbol of Remembrance Day due to the poem called In Flanders Field by John McCrae. Now, what do you think these red poppies that bloomed across some of the worst killing fields of Flanders in World War I symbolized with their red color? You can pretty much figure this out, right? In Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like everyone listening to the radio show today who loves America, who is a patriot, even if you're alone in your house, this is for you. It's not to show off. If you're in a car, I'm going to ask you to, you can't pull over, but I'm going to ask you to start flashing your headlights on the East Coast where it's dark already, as we play taps for all of the American soldiers who have died in all wars right up till now. And I want you to understand something. This is deadly serious. You may not think it has any meaning to anyone because no one can see you. It has meaning to you. Because if I can have you feel the strength of remembrance for those who are better than all of us, we have a hope to save America from Obama and the fascists who are trying to destroy our national pride and our national will to live. We can save America from the evil of hedge fund operators. The evil hedge fund operators who gave us the real estate bubble that then burst and left us high and dry. Yes, if we can get ourselves together, we can even beat the Republicans who are now plotting to push us aside now that we put them back in power. So again, if you're in a house, please stand at attention. Please put your hand over your heart. If you're in a car, flash your lights as we play taps for the fallen Americans. Thank you very much. Now the Stars and Stripes forever on the Savage Nation. As we come down off that emotional high, let's go to the Stars and Stripes forever. I'm going to tell you how you can judge who you are. Here's how you can judge who you are. If you sneered while the Taps were playing and thought that it was just a stunt for ratings, you're an unpatriotic piece of garbage who should pack up your bags and get out of America. If, on the other hand, while the Taps were playing, you were stirred, maybe moved to tears, shuddered with remembrance of someone who died in your family or a friend on the war fields, then you're an American who I love. What can I say to you? The country is more divided today than it's ever been, possibly since the U.S. Civil War, all because of Obama and the radical socialists, both in the government and the media. We won a major victory last week, and don't you forget it. We chased those socialist bums out of Congress, and don't you forget it. Just because the vermin in the media have hushed it up, just because the rats in Hollywood have made you forget what happened last week, doesn't mean you have to forget what happened last week. We won a major victory. We saw the face of evil and we said, get the hell out of here. Get out of our Congress. You stink it up. You're all fetid. Get out. But if you think they're through, you're wrong. Pelosi is acting right now to push through a vote during the lame duck session called the DREAM Act. It's a bill that would legalize young undocumented illegal aliens. That's what old Pelosi's trying to do in her last days of power. So don't think that these superb individuals who some call Americans love America. Don't think for a minute that any of them respect the legislative process. Don't think for a minute that any of them would be moved by the